Today's date, February 28th, 2016. Hunters of the Unknown is about to investigate the infamous Bobby Mackeys here in Kentucky. The establishment that currently stands is not the original. The original was built in 1850 and then was torn down in the 1890s. However, the three wells that are currently still in the establishment are better known as drains. They're only 18 inches deep. And they, at the time, were used, the building was originally built as a slaughterhouse, so the drains were used as drains to drain the blood and the waste from the animals when they were slaughtered. But one of them is considered to be the portal of hell, or to hell, so hopefully we can check that out tonight and see what's going on with that. Maybe get some EVPs or some apparitions or something, who knows. In the 1930s, the establishment became the Bluegrass Inn. It was bought out by Buck Brady, who was a local mobster, and turned it into a tavern and casino that was called the Primrose after that. And then the establishment exchanged hands a couple times. In 1973, it became the Hard Rock Cafe, which is unrelated to the current chain. It was a biker bar. And then it was kind of a shady place, lots of shootings, and the cafe was shut down in 1977. 1978 is when Bobby Mackey bought it. It became Bobby Mackey's Music World. The establishment sits on what's called Cope Formation, which is mainly like shale, limestone, things like that. So the flooring is kind of buckling, but that stuff becomes very soft when it gets wet. And because of all of that, and the train tracks, and the transformers and whatnot out back, there's high EMF readings. So we're going to do a baseline when we get in there to kind of see where we're at. So a little bit of history, some of the urban legends. So the building is said to be haunted by two gentlemen who murdered a young woman by the name of Pearl Bryan. And at the time, Pearl was approximately 5 months pregnant. And Scott Jackson, who was a dental student and the alleged father of the unborn child, wanted Pearl to have an abortion. So he tried to help her and botched up quite a few of those and used dental tools to try to perform an abortion. That didn't work. Had her ingest like 14 grams of cocaine. That didn't work. That was found in the autopsy later on. So after all these botched attempts to abort this baby, these two gentlemen, the other guy's name was, what was his name, Alonzo, I think it was, Alonzo Walling. So they both panicked, ended up chopping Pearl's head off, and the story says that the head was dropped in one of the wells. But during interrogation, the only thing that the two of them both agreed on was that Pearl's head was thrown in the Ohio River. Their head was never found. So that story kind of came about, because of Carl Lawson when he was possessed. That's how. When was that? I can't read it. Light is blinding me. So Carl said that at one point that the wells were used for satanic rituals, which is how Pearl's head ended up in the well. But according to research, Pearl was actually murdered 4 miles away from the establishment. It didn't happen there at the location. And the occult perspective. It originated with Carl Lawson. Claimed he was possessed by a spirit and told that Pearl Bryan's murder was due to satanic ritual, and that her head was thrown in the well as part of a sacrifice. That's how all that came about. But I guess to this day, those that visit Pearl Bryan's grave, they will leave a penny on her headstone so that her day of resurrection she'll have a head. And that was according to the Bobby Mackey's website. And then there's the mysterious Johanna, who was allegedly a dancer in the 1950s. She had a relationship with a man by the name of Robert Randall Mackey, and supposedly was killed by the mob because her dad didn't like this guy. So Johanna eventually became distraught and allegedly committed suicide by poisoning in the dressing room in the basement. So evidence has shown that there was a Johanna, but it was Johanna Reagan, who did commit suicide by poisoning, but that also took place miles down the road from the establishment. And according to her death certificate, this Johanna died in 1914, and she was a mother and married and a housewife, not a dancer. Plus, back in those days, that kind of job was kind of looked down upon. And so this too, the foundation of the story was also based on Lawson's claim that he found her journal in the basement, but yet the journal was never produced anywhere ever to this day. The love poem, so Joanna wrote a love poem to Randall, and it's posted on the wall at Bobby Mackey's. But if you look at it, it's actually a verse of a song by Tori Arden, Never, that was written in 1951. So the establishment, even though it has a shady past, it has a lot of claims. But Bobby Mackey himself has never had any paranormal encounters. His wife did at some point, and there are claims that there's 40 different spirits have been identified through psychics and visitors, and allegedly there's a dark entity that is particularly dangerous to women. So we'll see what we find.